the fall 2016 USC Viterbi live chat. A little bit about the live chat. So it's a panel of current engineering students answering questions that were submitted to us on our website at viterbivoices.usc.edu/live chat. We've already received hundreds of questions, so thank you everyone who's already submitted your questions. And if you're just tuning in, you can still ask questions at the form below. So we'll start off by each telling you guys a little bit about ourselves, and then I'll jump into the first question. So Nash, do you want to start off?
Sure. Hi guys, my name is Nash Galvez. First and foremost, I'll be the kind of technical director tonight. So if you see me looking off the screen or checking something out, that's because I'm trying to make sure that the whole live stream runs without a hiccup. So don't worry about, if I'm looking all over the place, because I'm just monitoring stuff. A little bit more about me. I'm an aerospace engineering student. I'm from Colorado Springs, Colorado, and I'm a junior at USC right now. I've really been involved with aviation and aerospace my whole life. I love airplanes. I've done research on campus studying the hydrophilic or drag reduction effects of hydrophilic coatings on submerged airfoils. So when you put a slipperier paint on boats, how they slide through the water easier. I'm captain of the club tennis team. I'm president of a professional aerospace organization on campus. I've interned with the Boeing company, and I'm returning there next summer. And I've also studied abroad in Madrid, Spain. And I'm in a social fraternity on campus, Tau Kappa Epsilon.
All right, hi everyone. My name's Ellen. I'm a senior double majoring in computer science and physics from Irvine, California. On campus, I do research in RF coil and eddy current imaging for the non-destructive evaluation of composite airplane parts. For fun, I'm the captain of the USC women's ice hockey team. This past summer, I interned as a software development engineer for Amazon.com, where I'll be returning full-time next summer to work for one of their subsidiaries, imdb.com, here in Santa Monica.
Hi everyone, I'm Frankie Johnson. I'm a senior studying chemical engineering with a focus in petroleum and a minor in internship. I'm originally from Pikesville, Maryland. On campus, I do a couple of things. I'm part of the National Society of Black Engineers. I'm the program chair. So basically what that means is I plan events inside and outside the classroom. So I have companies come like SpaceX or Facebook or Intel. And then outside the classroom, I have things like some fun events like Korean barbecue night and stuff like that. I also volunteer about twice a week with an organization called Troy Camp. We really focus on helping kids around the surrounding USC community and really ingraining the importance of education to all these little kids. On weekends, if I have free time, I like to go snowboarding, so I'm on the USC ski and snowboard team. And last summer, I interned at Pepsi, and I have a job offer back, but I'm still looking around a little bit.
Hi everyone, I'm Nya Lee. I'm a civil engineering major with an emphasis in building science. I'm from Houston, Texas, and a little bit of what I do on campus. I'm the public relations director for the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, so I just really handle all social media. I'm also part of the Concrete Canoe team on the American Society of Civil Engineers, and I have an on-campus job at Floor Towers, so that's like a suite-style apartment complex for freshmen. This upcoming summer, I will be interning with DPR Construction. And on the weekends, I'm a big foodie, so I like to go and just explore different restaurants around LA.
Hi, what's up everybody? My name's Alex, and I'm a senior from Phoenix, Arizona, studying biomedical engineering with a mechanical emphasis. I'm also in the progressive degree program, so I'll be getting my master's next spring in medical devices in diagnostic engineering. I have studied abroad in London with the Viterbi Overseas program. And on campus, I actually am a member of 3D4E, where I've worked on designing and 3D printing prosthetics for kids, as well as designing some 3D printed helmet technology to help prevent concussions. I'm also a Little League baseball coach in the surrounding community, and this past summer I interned for a spinal medical device company in Virginia called K2M in the quality control department, and I will be interning this coming summer at Abbott Laboratories.
All right. Hey guys, my name is Michelle. I'm a junior majoring in electrical engineering. I'm from Orlando, Florida. On campus, I'm a freshman academy coach where I teach a class for first semester engineering students about the 14 grand challenges, which USC loves. I'm also involved in the Society of Women Engineers and Trojan Scholar Society. And for my past 2 summers, I've interned at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, where I also work part-time this semester in the avionics group of the Europa mission.
Hey everybody, my name's Jose. I'm a sophomore studying industrial and systems engineering with a minor in business finance, and I'm originally from Porterville, California. On campus, I'm involved with the Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineers. It's called IISE, and I'm the programming director for that organization. We also put on events, a lot of networking events. We get a lot of companies to come specifically for IISE. types of recruitment. Also, I'm involved in 3D4E, which is a project-based 3D printing club. Currently, I'm working on designing 3D printed glasses for kids that are affordable and customizable. We're trying to fix the problem of kids not liking their glasses. Also, I'm on the USC boxing club, where I box about 2 to 3 days a week at a gym off campus.
So I can tell you guys a little bit about myself as well. I'm from Bakersfield, California, which is in Central California, about 2 hours north of LA. I'm currently a junior studying environmental engineering. Some of the things I'm involved in on campus are Society of Women Engineers. I'm on the operations committee in our officer council. And so what I do is I'm in charge of all of our social media, helping coordinate with all of our different events, and helping with recruitment. I am also in a social sorority on campus. So I'm on the executive board of my social sorority. I've had 2 internships while I've been at USC, one with LA County Sanitation Districts, which was more like environmental engineering based, and then one with MAT Construction, which was more on the civil engineering side. Last summer, I studied abroad in Madrid, Spain through the Viterbi Overseas program. Some of the things that I like to do on the weekends in my free time are just hiking, camping, doing outdoor stuff is what I really enjoy. So we'll start off with the first question. Victor, Andrew, and Donovan about internships as a USC engineering student. So what has your guys' experience been with getting an internship? Like, how do you go about that? And do you think that USC has helped you in that arena?
Yeah, so I can start off, guys. USC has definitely helped me as far as internships go, but the first thing I'll say is they definitely did not get me an internship. USC doesn't have a placement program where they'll just give you an internship. But what they do is give you a lot of great resources as far as measuring your success against others, and also getting an internship through career fairs that they put on. There's a general career fair in the fall, and there's a Viterbi-specific engineering career fair in the fall. At that career fair this fall in October, there were over 160 companies represented. So 160 companies that have recruiters coming to you to ask you, what are your qualifications? Why are you interested in working for us? So that's a really great resource that we have here. We also have a Viterbi Career Connection website and a resource center just for the engineering school that allows you to do resume reviews, mock interviews, and to get you up to date with any of that sort of thing you need if you want, to feel more comfortable with your resume or with your interview skills. We also have a freshman academy course that fall freshmen take their first year at USC, and that gives you the opportunity to meet with mentors fairly regularly who can kind of help you through anecdotal experiences of how they got their internships, and also just kind of give you some more advice on what to do with your resume. For me, it was as simple as going up to the Boeing recruiting desk in September of my freshman year at the General Career Fair and just talking to them, saying I was interested in aerospace, designing airplanes, giving them my resume, and I ended up very luckily and fortunately getting a job with a Boeing company as an aerodynamics engineering intern my freshman year.
Yeah,
so like a cool
sorry. Really quick. So along the same lines of what Nash said, I think my biggest tip for getting an internship is definitely practicing networking, which USC has a lot of, events and stuff, networking events where you can practice that, and the career fairs, like Nash said. Because getting that experience with, connecting with someone in a really short period of time is, I think, one of the biggest things in getting an internship. Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, cool little note to add on to what Nash said about having over 160 companies come to the career fair is for the past 2 years now in our fall career fair, we've actually had more companies come to recruit Viterbi students than the campus-wide career fair that comes and recruits for everyone at school. So we're not going to say, who's the best school on campus, but, we do have a lot of recruiters that like to come and give us jobs.
And just a quick note for any potential computer science students out there, for my personal case, I got my internship through the Grace Hopper Celebration, which is a conference for women in technology and computing. And USC actually paid for me to go out to Houston. So they flew me out and put me up in a hotel, and I was able to interview over the span of 3 days with a bunch of different companies. And that's how I got my internship, which ended up turning into a full-time offer. So USC definitely gave me a leg up in that regard.
On top of just having people, we have the career fair, but we also have organizations on campus, like my organization, National Society of Black Engineers, where we have our own conferences, and we have also companies just come in just to talk to our students just specifically. So there's a lot of organizations on campus that allow you to meet a lot of different companies. But USC also gives you a lot of resources, like the Viterbi Career Gateway, which lists all the jobs that people, like all the companies people are looking for. But also, we also have the Career Fair and a lot of other different organizations to help you on campus.
Okay, awesome. So the next question, a lot of people have been asking about this. Specifically, Kevin, Christopher, James, and Nathan want to know what is the community like at USC and specifically in Viterbi? Like, do you guys feel like it's cooperative, competitive? Do you think that you have all of your friends in the engineering school, or is it more spread out? What do you guys think?
I think USC, you know, a big reason of why I came here is because the people I saw on campus are very diverse. I was looking for a place I'm originally, like I said, I'm from Maryland. And I wanted to go somewhere that's known to be really, really diverse and has a lot of different people from all around the world to come. And it was really great to come here and meet people from Belgium, from Italy, from England, from Hong Kong, everywhere. And it was really, really cool to kind of just talk to all these different people and really to bounce ideas off all these different people. You know, you have people in engineering school that are different places, but you have people from Marshall Business School from all different places. And I thought it was really cool to be able to be in such a small area and be able to meet so many different people and hear all their different ideas and just really talk to them and compare, you know, like how, you know, like how their bringing up was compared to yours, or how Maryland's different from, you know, Seattle or something like that. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, so going off a little bit, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Naomi.
Okay, going off a little bit off of what Frankie said, I also like to be very collaborative and collaborate with a lot of people. So one of the things that I was looking into really heavily was, you know, a community that wanted to help each other. And I definitely do have that at USC. A lot of, you know, when I do homework, when I study, I never study alone. I always have a study group with me. So for finals, midterms, I'm always studying with groups. We work on homework together. So yeah, the community is definitely very collaborative. I have friends from all different schools, Marshall, communication. Some of my best friends are like in Dornside, in Annenberg, which is the communication school. And also I think what helps a lot with that is just living, you know, on campus housing. You aren't going to be living with people from just Viterbi. You're going to be having a roommate or a suite mate or apartment mate that, you know, goes to study something else. So yeah, that also helps you just kind of get to know people from all different sorts of schools.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Sorry. Yeah, I definitely agree with what Nya Lee said about the on-campus housing. Most of my friends that I have right now that are not in engineering, I met through living in Burn Camp freshman year. So that's definitely a great way to meet people outside of engineering, and we're still really close friends till now. So props to that.
Yeah, one of my roommates is classical guitar and neuroscience. Like my other roommate is architecture major, and then I got a CS guy with the four of us. And so it really helps that like I would be better at like writing, and my CS friend would help me with my CS homework because I was terrible at CS. So it just kind of helps with just you meet people who have different talents than you, and they'll help you out in different areas. And it's not a competitive thing; it's more of a collaborative thing, which is really cool. And you really don't know it until you experience it here.
Yeah, and on that, I would say like part of what I like about USC is, someone said this to me one time and like it really stuck with me, is it's really hard to make a small school feel big, but it's a lot easier to make a big school feel small. And so even though USC is a pretty large university, you'll have a lot of different like groups of friends and like communities inside of USC where you'll really get to know people. So our next question is asking about double majors and minors, and if it's possible. This question comes to us from Rohan, Mallory, Nikita, and Serena. So Ellen, I'll have you start off with that since I know you're a double major. What has your experience been with it?
Yeah, absolutely. So in case you guys didn't hear my intro, I'm double majoring in computer science and physics. It definitely is possible. I am going to graduate in 4 years with 2 bachelor's of science degrees, but it's something that you just have to do a lot of planning for. So I've taken 2 sessions of summer school. I've had to take some semesters where I take 5 classes instead of 4. And the biggest thing has honestly just been talking to upperclassmen and talking to my advisors to find out which classes are going to be more time consuming. And so maybe I should take a lighter course load that semester, or maybe these ones are going to be easier so I can fit in that extra 5th class. So the biggest thing if you want to do a minor or extra classes or double major or whatever it is just planning it out and talking to your advisor and any resources you might have so that you can figure out a way that it'll fit for you.
Frankie, you have a minor, right? What do you think?
I have a minor in entrepreneurship. I felt that, I didn't think I needed to double major in business and then also engineering. I felt that on my resume, I didn't think entrepreneurship would give me that extra boost that I would need for having a full major, but I kind of wanted it for my own personal kind of interests. I've always been interested in starting my own company or kind of just doing something entrepreneurial. I have a couple ideas. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. But, I've always enjoyed the classes. It's really good to be able to go take classes in the Marshall School and be able to, apply your engineering thinking and problem solving skills to business problems or, thinking outside the box. So I think it's really doable, especially if you've taken AP classes and have kind of got those out of the way. So it's definitely a plus to if you take AP credits and, have them open extra classes. But, I will graduate in 4 years. I'm graduating next semester. And having the entrepreneurship minor is really, really fun. It's a really good place to really make you think outside the box and really push your entrepreneurial spirit and look for new things outside of just engineering.
Yeah, I think something really cool to add on that is, you're going to have open space to take extra classes, and that doesn't mean you need to add another minor or, add another major for that matter. I've taken a bunch of classes all over the place. At first, I thought I was going to minor in the Marshall School of Business. So I took a couple business classes, realized I wanted to focus a little more on the technical side of biomedical engineering. But I've taken a couple physical education classes, including stress management, which was really helpful, especially, having the workload of an engineer. I'm currently in a physical conditioning class. I have friends who take, yoga, sailing classes, film symposiums, really popular one. So you're going to have a lot of extra space to add stuff in. Don't think that just because you're an engineer, you're not going to have any extra class space. And, there are a lot of different ways that you can choose to kind of use those units that you have.
Yeah, so I just noticed lots of people submitting questions right now, so that's awesome. Please keep submitting your questions. We're going to go through them. Something I noticed, though, is that we're having a lot of questions about what you guys want to know what we recommend for students applying to USC and to college in general. And we actually have a tips to apply page on our website. So if you go to viterbivoices.usc.edu/tips, that is where you can find all of the tips that we have and anything that we think that you guys might find helpful in the application process. So for our next question, Christian and Jordan want to know, how is it balancing your social life with academics? So engineering is a pretty heavy course load, and they want to know, can you still have a social life and study engineering, and what does that sort of look like on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I mean, balancing your social life in engineering is just like balancing your sports, your extracurriculars, your involvements in high school, and all the work you do there. The only difference at college is you don't have mom and dad to force you to do your homework or get up on time or manage yourself differently. So again, engineering is demanding and it's a pretty involved course load. So you're definitely going to be doing a fair amount of work, but you're also going to be learning a lot. But it's really just the same techniques and the time management skills that you guys learn and use in high school. It's just you have to be mature and apply those to your own work and your own everyday lives, so that if you want, to go to this movie on Thursday, or, need time to practice tennis over, extra on the weekend so you're ready for a tournament, you get your homework done ahead of time, or, you go to sleep early so you can get up for your early class and be ready to go if you have a test. So it's definitely doable. And again, a lot of people ask about free time. Well, a lot of us, our free time is actually spent doing things that we're involved in that we really want to be doing. I might, for instance, have another tennis practice, or just go explore LA, go to the beach, but I'll schedule that into, my whole week schedule because I know I want to do that. So it is free time, but I'm planning it ahead. So again, just using those time management skills and really staying on top of your work and being active as far as if you have the opportunity to get something done, going ahead and taking that initiative and doing it. If you just take those things in mind, heed them well, you guys will be fine as far as how much time you have. We all sleep everyone asks the question, do you guys sleep? We all sleep plenty, 8 hours a night. I slept 9 or 10 hours last night. So that's not just a myth or
That's
something.
the weekend.
It's the weekend, right? But seriously, just keep those time management skills up you guys have in high school, and you'll be totally fine.
I would definitely say, is with along the lines of having to balance your work with like having fun, it's definitely very doable. So this weekend my cousin is here visiting, so I made sure that I got all my work done for the whole week. Even today on Sunday, I woke up around 9 to make sure I got all my work done because I had the live chat, and then after this I'm actually going to a concert. So if you plan your time very wisely, if you understand your schedule very well, and you know what you have to get done, as long as you manage your time well, you can do really anything you want. It's just a matter of just really, you have to prioritize, and you can't really do everything, but you have to be able to really understand how much time you have per day and how much at the time to set aside for school, and understand how much free time you have. So I understood that, I have a couple projects due next week that I'm going to get them done earlier today, and then after this I'm going to go see Schoolboy Q and Erica Baidu, and I think that's it. Yeah, but so as long as you find time during the day, you can really do as much as you want. It's just a matter of how well you manage your time, and if you're on top of your work like you need to be. So yeah.
Yeah, and in terms of coursework, I've noticed that for me, most of the coursework comes in waves. So maybe one week is a little heavier than others, but then maybe the week after it's a lot lighter, and you have more time to hang out with your friends. I like to go out and get food. So yeah, it kind of depends on your major and what you're taking.
Also use Google Calendar. It's super helpful.
Awesome. So our next question comes from Jasmine, and Jasmine wants to know what resources do we have for helping us in our classes? Like, is there some type of tutoring program? Have you guys ever needed to use something in one of your classes that was outside of just going to lecture every day?
Yeah, there are tons of different resources that the Viterbi school offers, and that are offered for your individual classes. So one of the things I like to use a lot is called Supplemental Instruction, or SI, and that's for a lot of your basic science and math classes. So calculus 1 through 3, as well as biology, chemistry, and physics, and usually your intro classes as well, are all led by an actual undergraduate student who took the class and got an A in the class. And they'll have weekly sessions, go over the big concepts of what happened in lecture for the past week. They actually attend your lectures as well, so they know what's going on, and they work really closely with your professor. So it's really a good way to kind of just get the repetition of going through the material. And also, I think something really important that Nya Lee touched on earlier is the study groups that you have with the people in your major. You get really close, especially once you get older, you start to know everyone who are in your classes, and you get to form these groups of people that, if you have a big assignment going on or you got a midterm, you have them as resources as well.
Also, office hours are going to be a godsend for you, because they are for me, for sure. I go to office hours a lot, where every single professor is going to have office hours. For me, I like to go through my notes and textbook beforehand, and then I'll write down my notes on a sticky note or something, and so the professor knows I'm extra prepared. But they're super helpful, very open, so definitely take advantage of your professors.
Also, don't be scared to ask for help. Something that I came in being very independent, and I came in and never wanted to ask for help, and it really hurt me. So make sure you go and ask for help. If you are struggling with a class, my uncle always taught me, work smarter, not harder. So if you can approach a problem differently by either going to tutoring or asking for help and going to your office hours or collaborating with someone, go do that. Ask for help. Make it also that cuts down the amount of time you have to spend on your homework. But make sure you learn the topic. But at the end of the day, find help when you need it, and don't be scared to ask for help. Everyone needs help, and through college you definitely will, unless, okay, some people might not, but it's good to ask for help, I would say.
I think another good resource that you guys can look up if you want to look up, something tangible that Viterbi offers is called VARC, which is the Viterbi Academic Resource Center, and that's actually housed in the main engineering building, Ronald Tudor Hall, and so that's free tutoring. Again, taught by USC students, that's offered for most of your intro level and some of your intro level classes, as well as all your science and math classes. And like I said, that's free, and it's definitely really helpful.
Yeah, on the note with VARC, I used that a lot my freshman year because I was in a coding class for civil and environmental engineers. And like you won't normally find, you know, a tutor for like such a very specific subject, but it's nice because VARC has tutors who have taken that class and who did well and who were really good at like being able to teach it to you. So that was something nice is like Alex said, they get paid, but we don't, you as someone getting tutored, you don't have to pay them. So it's really nice that you don't have to worry about that. So our next question comes from Adrian, Isabella, and Caroline. So they're all asking about study abroad programs. We mentioned, some of us, that we did a summer program, but I know that there are lots of other things to do other than that program. So I was wondering if you guys wanted to touch on that. I can start off with my experience abroad. So like I said, I did the Viterbi overseas program in Madrid, Spain this past summer. And basically what that is it's a summer program only open to USC Viterbi engineering students. And about like 35 to 40 of us will all go to a city outside the US. So this summer it was Madrid, Alex's summer it was London. And what you do is you take 2 classes. I took thermodynamics and upper division writing taught by Viterbi faculty in English. So you know that they're all going to transfer over. And that's 4 days a week that you take the classes in the mornings. And then the rest of the time you have free. So I traveled all throughout Spain. I went to London for a weekend. And in the afternoons, I would like explore Madrid. And so that was my experience. It's definitely possible to go abroad. I chose the summer program because it opened up a lot of free space in the year for me to take other classes that I was interested in. And it just worked the best with my course plan, but it's definitely possible to go abroad. Does anybody else have any other thoughts?
Well,
one thing to point out is that,
Go ahead, Ellen.
I just want to point out that while we talk about a lot of study abroad programs, you actually can, aside from studying, you actually can work abroad. So my roommate right now is actually working for Google in Zurich, Switzerland. So if that's something you want to do, you can also try and fit that in.
Cool. Yeah, and I was going to say, like what Bria said, I did the Viterbi overseas program over the summer, but a lot of engineers do, you know, an entire semester of studying abroad. Whether that be at a specific program that correlates directly to their department or something that's completely different. So actually, one of our good friends, Ali, studied last fall in Australia, and I have a good friend who actually right now is studying in Ireland through an actual BME program. So he's actually he's a junior, and he's taking senior level BME classes that transfer over directly to the requirements that he has over here. There are also a couple other programs that we do that don't require a huge time commitment. So one of those is iPodia. So it's actually a class that you take during the semester where you're working with students from other universities via like web chatting, and you at the end of the semester you all come together and you can apply to actually travel to go to like an international conference and meet up with those people for I think it's a week or 2. So you don't have to do this 7-week summer program or a full semester. There are a lot of other opportunities that you can, you know, get that international experience.
I would definitely suggest everyone looks into abroad. Like I wasn't able to, or I didn't, and that's the one thing I regret about not like going through college, is not going abroad. So I definitely think everyone should look into it.
Yeah, there's things like Alex said, other than studying, like there's alternative spring breaks, iPodia, like he mentioned. There are a lot of different opportunities to go abroad and just get like that international experience if you're looking for it. So it's almost 7:30 right now, so we're about halfway through our live chat. Thank you everyone who's been watching. If you're just tuning in, welcome. We're just a panel of engineering students answering questions submitted to us in the form on this page. So I see that questions are still coming in, so please keep asking your questions. We're still looking at the form and answering that. So our next question comes from Tia, Derek, and Tyler. And they're asking about what are some hands-on projects that you guys do outside of the classroom, like in clubs or anything else that you guys do outside the classroom. So Alex, I know you're in a 3D printing club, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, so I'll let Jose talk about the 3D4E because he's also in 3D4E. But for me, specifically with BME, the coolest thing I've gotten to do was actually through this club. I'm wearing the shirt right now, ASBME. It's the Associated Students of Biomedical Engineering, and they put on a Maketh On last year. So if you guys have heard of hackathons with like computer science, a Maketh-on is that same idea, but with a medical device. And so it was actually a NASA-inspired event where we had someone from NASA Skype in and give us our challenge for the week on Friday night, and we had until Sunday to kind of come up with, and if you're chosen to prototype a medical device. And the issue that we were looking at were upper extremity fractures in zero gravity conditions of space. So obviously it's a very niche issue going on, but it was super cool. I was on a team of 5, and we had about 6 hours to kind of brainstorm, come up with an idea. We were one of 5 teams chosen to prototype our device, so we got to use 3D printers, the machine shop on campus, and a couple other resources to actually prototype our device. And so we went then and presented that and showed how our device functioned in front of a panel of 4 BME faculty, and we actually were chosen as the winners, which was really cool. But it was really awesome. It was a stressful weekend. It was almost 48 hours straight with no sleep, but it was a really cool experience, and to get that hands-on experience, something you might not get in the class.
So 3D4E, going off of what Alex said, is this club that I just learned about this semester that I just joined. It's called 3D for Everyone, where it's a project-based 3D printing club, and you split up into groups of 4 or 5 at the beginning of the semester, but it's based on your interest, and they have broad topics that you can choose from, or you can pitch an idea. We actually have pancakes and pitches at the beginning of the year, where we have a bunch of pancakes and you pitch your idea to the rest of the group. And at the end of the year, at the end of the semester, you have a showcase and you show everything that you're working on. So my group is working on, as I said before, 3D printed glasses for kids. We chose to tackle the problem of kids who are really insecure about getting glasses. And there's a few people in our group who felt that way. And I know I have my little sister felt that way when she had first got her glasses. And so we're designing glasses that fit well, that you can put your name on the side, and we eventually want to make a booth where they'll take a picture of your face and then make the glasses right in front of you to where you can take them eventually. And also Alex is working on prosthetics as well as some other stuff that he can tell you about too.
Yeah, so like I said, my group right now is working on creating some technology for helmets that mimics the blood-brain barrier. I don't want to get too technical with it, but it's really cool because 3D4E basically tries to take the concept of 3D printing being a very, cost-effective and this technology that almost anyone can use to kind of bridge the gap between technology and cost. Excuse me, especially in communities such as ours, like in LA. Jose is making glasses for people who might not have the financial means to keep buying glasses, especially as you get older. A lot of other projects as well.
Yeah, also there are a lot of design teams if you're interested in projects outside of class, like SC Racing, where students design, build, and race a race car every year. And there's also RPL, which is Rocket Propulsion Laboratory, where students literally build a rocket and try to shoot it up into space. I think USC their goal is to become the first student organization to get a rocket into space. So lots of cool opportunities.
Yeah, and I'm also part of the Concrete Canoe team. So, excuse me. So we actually have to design a floating concrete canoe. And so we are actually in the process of just designing different mixes with different ingredients and different proportions of each ingredient. And at the end of the year, we race this canoe with a whole bunch of different schools from the Southern California area. And it's not like American Society of Civil Engineers is not just concrete canoe. There's also steel bridge. There's a wall that has to it's a retaining wall that has to hold soil up. So there's a lot of different groups and teams that you can join. So, you don't just have to join one. You can join as many as you want and as many as you have time for and as many as you want to commit. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
Okay, so we can move on to the next question from Robert, Andrew, and Travis. Sorry. So they want to know sort of about like what your course plan looks like as an engineering student. So when do you start taking engineering classes? I know a lot of schools start their junior year. When do you start engineering classes? And what does the year look like as a freshman at USC?
Yeah, so freshman year, the first day of class, I think it was Monday, August 24th. I have no idea why I remember that, guys, but it was probably a big deal for me when I got into college. My first class was actually Introduction to Aerospace Engineering, AME 105. So like I said, I am an aerospace engineer. And the first day of class at USC as an undergraduate in college, I was taking an aerospace engineering class. So for those of you who are interested, you start taking engineering classes in the discipline that you might be interested in on the first day of the first semester of your first year at USC. It changed, the introduction class changes depending on what major you're interested in. But that course plan, especially if you're a freshman year, will probably consist of that Introduction to Aerospace Engineering class or Introduction to Engineering class of your major. You might also have a math class, maybe a science class, a general education class, and a writing class. And that sort of trend continues through the year into the next semester where you might have another engineering class, more math, physics, science, and another general education course. So obviously USC puts you into engineering courses on your first day of class, literally your first experience with campus, because it's really important for you to know if you like your major. For instance, I was really interested in aerospace engineering. I thought I would like it. And that class was validation for me that I found the right place, that aerospace engineering was home. But for other students, I know, there's some people who transfer, and there's actually a large amount of people who transfer and are very happy about it at USC between engineering majors. That process is really easy and fluid as well. So that's why, you're in that introduction course on the first day because you get to, figure out if you really like aerospace engineering. I know people in my aerospace engineering class who switched to astronautical engineering, which is pretty similar, but now they really like that they're in astronautical. So on the first day, they were able to facilitate that change easily.
Yeah, I can testify too.
Go.
Oh, sorry, Michelle.
Go for it.
I changed my major after my first semester here, but it wasn't because I didn't like, I was originally mechanical, but it was because of my freshman academy professor, Professor Mashkati, who's an ISC professor and also in the civil engineering department. But he kind of wooed me into ISC because I didn't know anything about industrial systems engineering before. And so it wasn't that I didn't like the mechanical, but I just learned to love something that I am really passionate about. So, and it's a super easy change. It's as simple as talking to your advisor, telling them that you want to change and why you want to change. And I'm still on track. Obviously I switched really early, but I know people that switch in their sophomore year and they're still on track to graduate in 4 years, which is really awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're also undecided and you don't know what major you want to go into, your first semester you will also take an Introduction to Engineering course or something like that, where they'll talk about all of the engineering courses to help you try and decide. Also, like I mentioned before, there's freshman academy coaches and the class to help you, like Jose said, to help you kind of navigate your way to decide what major you want to go into.
Yeah, so, and that sort of leads into our next question. You guys kind of answered it a little bit, but Leah from Pennsylvania wants to know how hard it is to switch your major. And we addressed it a little bit, but I can talk about my experience with switching my major. I actually came into USC under industrial and systems engineering. But after my senior year of high school, I realized that I really liked my AP environmental science class and I wanted to go into environmental engineering instead. And so it was super easy for me at orientation, like over the summer before classes even started, you register for your classes. And so when I went to register, I just told my advisor that I wanted to switch and they just had me sign the paper and I registered for environmental classes instead of ISC classes. So it was super easy. And now the way that I've structured my course plan, I could still technically switch from environmental engineering to civil engineering or civil engineering with environmental emphasis, and still every single one of my classes would count. So at least in my experience, it's not too difficult to switch majors like from one engineering to another. Has anybody else switched their major?
Yeah, I have switched my major. I came in originally as a computer science with an emphasis in video games major. And so kind of going off of what Nash had said about getting right into taking your classes, I was able to take 2 classes in video games right off the bat and discovered that I'm not very good at art. So I ended up just switching to the regular computer science major and was able to have that semester where I switched majors and still fit a double major within 4 years. So it's definitely very easy. I think all I had to do was go into an office and sign something on an iPad, and it was just done.
Yeah, switching your major in Viterbi from one engineering major to another is a pretty straightforward process because it's all in the same office. Some people have been asking what it's like switching from another school at USC into Viterbi. And along with that question, we've been getting a lot of other admission-related questions asking things like, how hard is it to get into USC? What classes you should take as a high school student? Like AP and IB credits, like what counts? And stuff like that. So since we're just students, we're really here to talk about student life and our experiences, but you guys definitely can get those questions answered by our admission office. So if you go to viterbiadmission.usc.edu, that's where you can get all those questions answered. And if you have something that's more specific to like your personal situation, you can email them at viterbi.admission@usc.edu. So yeah, those admission related questions are great, but definitely direct those more to our admission staff and they can give you good answers for that. So on to our next question. Shelby from Maryland and Logan from Minnesota have a question about stuff that we do on campus. So what is your guys' favorite activity to do on campus?
Football
I'll
games.
just jump in. Yeah, mine's similar. I was gonna just mention club sports. Like I mentioned, I'm the captain of the ice hockey team. I joined the team as a freshman with absolutely no experience playing ice hockey whatsoever, and picked it up and made some of the best friends that I've made in college. And actually, there's a lot of engineers on the team. So if you're interested, you played sports in high school or you're interested in learning a new sport, definitely investigate club sports.
I'd say the farmers market too is really cool.
Oh yeah.
So it's every Wednesday in the McCarthy Quad, and so there's boba, there's fresh produce. Like now that I'm cooking for myself, I can go over there and get like vegetables and stuff if I feel like vegetables that day. I can also yeah, if I'm feeling healthy that day, I'll get some vegetables. But there's also like really cool just local food from around the area, which is awesome. So even if I don't buy anything, I'll just go through there and just like see all the cool stuff they have. Sometimes they have samples, I think, but yeah.
Yeah, and we definitely can't overlook what Jose said with football games. So campus on game day,
The most important part.
is magical. You go and everyone's tailgating on campus. It's just like a sea of cardinal and gold. Everyone's out having a great time. You just see all these people from classes. You know, a lot of the times you see your professors as well, because they're, you know, they live in the area. They're coming to the games. Last night, as you guys know, we beat number 4 team in the country, Washington, and we're ranked number 15 now in the AP poll. We'll see where we're at in the college football playoff poll. But yeah, sports, not just football games, but sports in general are a lot of fun. Football games are the only games you have to pay extra for tickets. Every other game you get in free with your student ID. So actually this past Friday, the basketball team just started their season, and they actually just won their game today. So they're 2-0 off to a good start. But, you know, you go to a bunch of different games. The baseball team is really good. All of our water sports are fantastic.
Water polo.
Yeah, our women's soccer team just won their first round game of the NCAA championship. So, you know, even if you don't like sports, you're gonna have to learn to like sports because they're all over the place. They're free and they're tons of fun.
And if you don't like sports but you like pizza, you can also get free pizza at some of the basketball games because they do the pizza delivery. So look into that. It's a really cool thing that they do, but basically you can get free pizza if you're in the right place at the right time during a basketball game. That actually got me hooked when I came to VitUSC because getting free pizza was pretty high up there. I was into basketball too, but that was just icing on the cake or the pepperoni of the pizza. You want to get cold.
Oh, no, my God. Terrible.
So we've been getting a lot of questions about research. So just some of the people who have asked about it: Megan, Matthew, Oliver, Noah, Harrison, and lots more people posting on the forum asking about research opportunities at USC, if it's possible to do it as an undergraduate student. What has been your guys' experience with research on campus?
Yeah, so on a more serious note, research is easy at USC. My research involvements, my research experience started my freshman year in the spring, and it was literally as easy as asking my freshman aerospace engineering or introduction to aerospace engineering professor, Professor Jeff Spenning, if I could get involved in his research lab in the spring. I took his course in the fall, and he's also the department chair of aerospace and mechanical engineering at USC. So the department chair was teaching the freshman introduction to aerospace engineering course. I asked him at the end of the semester, hey, I really like, what I learned. I'd really love to help out in your lab. Is there anything I can do? And he says, sure. Jump in my lab next semester, and that was it. I was doing research spring semester of my freshman year. And there's a bunch of different ways you can get involved in research, and most of them start with just cold calling or emailing a professor, talking to your professors and asking them if they know about good research opportunities that are available. Because in my experience, in my friends' experience, professors are really excited about undergrads here. They want undergrads in labs. They want them actually doing work, not just sweeping the floors, and learning, valuable experience, not only to, help boost their own resume, but to, help the lab out, because some of these students end up getting published on papers as well. So it's a pretty big deal, and it's really cool stuff.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about how interdisciplinary the research projects can be here. For example, my project that I mentioned earlier, I'm working in a composites laboratory on an electromagnetic coil sensor that is set up to detect defects in composite parts without actually having to break the parts open. So that's in a composites lab. It's actually a physics project, but I'm also a computer science student. So there's a whole bunch of different people working on it. And one of the things that's really cool about it is it's commissioned by Northrop Grumman. So I actually also have the opportunity to work with some industry partners and see how the research that we're doing in this university can be applicable to industry.
Awesome. So we're going to move on to the next question. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. And if you're just now tuning in, welcome to the USC Viterbi live chat. We're a panel of engineering students answering questions that you guys submit to the form on our website at viterbivoices.usc.edu/livechat. So we'll move on to our next question. Kyra and Madison both had questions asking about diversity resources and clubs at USC and in Viterbi, and sort of what that looks like for us as students. So Nya Lee, you're in SHIP, right? So do you want to talk a little bit about what that's been like for you?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, like Bria said, I'm in the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, and it's been a great resource for me, specifically because they helped me get my internship with DPR this summer. So the thing that really helped me with that was the alumni base is really strong. So they have a lot of alumni that work for a lot of different companies, and they're more than willing to come back and, help the organization that they were a part of in college. And that's how I got, a great interview prep for the company that I'm going to be interning with. So it's definitely very, very helpful. It helped me fit in. It helped me kind of transition into college a little bit better and, essentially get an internship for this summer. I know Frankie's also part of the National Society of Black Engineers on campus, so I don't know if Frankie wants to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm part of the National Society of Black Engineers. I joined, my organization really focuses on just helping underrepresented students really find the next path of like their professional, what they want to do. So if you want to go into grad school, if you want to be going to industry, really focus on helping you do that, along the lines of just being a student here and really making sure that you get the attention you need and make sure that you have people and resources there to help you, meaning other students that are upperclassmen. It's really great when you're taking classes and you have someone to look up to or you have someone to talk to in case, you're struggling with the class and you're taking, intro to chemical engineering. And, you're like, wow, I'm not getting this. Like, is this for me? I'm not sure. And it's really great to be able to talk to someone and be like, you took this class, like, what do you think? And give you that kind of, it'll give you a full response of how the class is and really just helps you. So being part of the National Society of Black Engineers definitely helped me. It's really great. It's a lot of fun. Not only professionally are they helpful, but, I'm a program chair, so I like to plan a lot of fun things. So, if I have something fun to do, like, oh, let's go laser tagging, or if I want to go laser tagging, I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to plan an event, let's go laser tagging. So it's a lot of fun to be part of an organization that is, helping you reach that next professional level but at the same time, just there to have a lot of fun and just bring people together. There's other organizations on campus that really focus on diversity. We actually have a Center of Engineering, Center of Diversity, CED, that just really focuses on, SWE, which is Society of Women Engineers that Michelle can probably talk about, SHIP, and then NESB, and there's, I think it's other organizations in it. And it's just there to give you a space to really just work and, talk to anyone that you need to talk to and just kind of gather. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I can actually talk a little bit about Society of Women Engineers. So I'm on the Officer Council, and more specifically, I'm on our Operations Committee. So I personally handle all of our social media and promos and stuff like that. But what I really like about SWE is that we have a lot of variety of events. So we have social events. Like today, there was a picnic in the Rose Garden. There's a mentorship program. We also have like community service events. So yesterday we had engineering as well, where we get a bunch of kids from all the local elementary schools and show them like cool engineering projects that like they will have fun with, just to gauge their interest in engineering and just get them thinking about possible careers in STEM at such a young age. And then we also have a lot of corporate events. So a lot of people get internships and do a lot of networking through our SWE events. And so it's definitely been an awesome thing for me, just like to meet other women in engineering and just to do a lot of networking and sort of get outside my comfort zone by meeting new people. So there's definitely lots of resources as far as like diversity orgs and stuff goes. So we have time for about 2 more questions. Our next question has to do with living in LA. So I think a lot of us, not me, but a lot of you guys are from out of state. And I think the closest person to LA is what, you, Ellen, right? You're from Irvine?
Yeah.
So none of us are LA natives. What do you guys think about living in LA, it's Southern California area? And do you think specifically as an engineering student, it's been beneficial?
I think it's awesome, personally. Like half the reason, I would say more than half the reason why I came to USC was the fact that it was in LA. One, the weather's amazing. Like, where can you get better weather here? Like, I was so tired of being in the cold. From Maryland, and like if you guys like the cold, like cool, but like I was all about just like being around the beach and just being in the sun. But even if you like skiing or snowboarding, you still can go skiing and snowboarding, which is like, I thought it was like, my mind was blown. I was like, oh, you can go to the beach for the day and then go snowboarding later that night. That's awesome. But on top of just the weather, the people, I'm a big music person. I love music, and I feel like every major tour goes straight through LA. So some of the concerts I've been to, I went to, granted it wasn't right in LA, but it was 2 hours away. I went to the Childish Gambino concert, the Pharaohs one. So if you guys are big Childish Gambino fans, basically, the album that comes out on December 2nd, I already heard it, so. I also went to the Kanye West concert, I think a week or 2 ago. So that was pretty awesome. And then I went to a concert yesterday, and then like I said earlier, I'll be going to that after this. So you have a lot of opportunities to hear really cool music, meet a lot of really cool different people, around the world. So it's really funny because Uber is really big here. And so every time you get an Uber, someone's from a different place. So I just met some dude, he's like, yeah, I'm German and Persian. And I was like, I've never heard that mixed together. So it was really cool. And you just meet a whole bunch of different people with a whole bunch of cool different music and really cool weather. So LA is really awesome. Clearly, I love it. And so, yeah.
And there's even more to LA too. I mean, you have all those great things going on, and you're also at one of the epicenters of industry. So if you want to come to a place where you can get a job and stay there, LA is amazing. As far as aerospace goes, there's a ton of aerospace jobs down here. There's a ton of entertainment, computer science, web developer and app development groups. There's tons of offices for technology and startup organizations. The startup community is really strong here as well. So LA is a great place, not only socially, culturally, musically, weather-wise. I'm from Colorado, so I miss the seasons a little bit. You can see ski posters right behind me. I love skiing. I can still do that here. I can go to Mammoth, like Frankie was saying. But it's also a great place to work. They say live, work, and play. You can do all of that when you're in Los Angeles. So it's really just one of the coolest places to be. And I've had absolutely no regrets with deciding to come out to the West Coast and go to school here. It's really awesome.
Yeah, I'd say that my favorite part about being in LA is definitely the food scene. The food is on point here. I mean, just being at USC, there's Koreatown, just like 5 minutes from here. There's Little Tokyo, there's Thai Town. There's a billion different kinds of cultures, and LA is definitely a melting pot, which is one of my favorite parts about it. And also USC's location in LA is actually very prime. I never imagined that I'd be able to intern during the school year, but it's possible because fun fact, JPL is only about half an hour from here without traffic. But I'm a little optimistic. But
without traffic, that's a
That's
the biggest problem for
that's a big detail right there.
Yeah, I would say as far as like internships and stuff go, both of my internships were in the LA area. One was in North Hollywood, and then the other one was in like downtown LA. So it's definitely nice. Like they already kind of said that there are so many companies down here. They have locations down here. I also interned part-time during the year, as well as a full-time summer internship. And like being able to do both of those, I would say is something that's pretty unique to like the LA, Southern California area. So it looks like we have time for one more question. This has definitely been what almost like a huge majority of the people asking tonight want to know. So I'll have all of my panelists answer it. Basically, everyone wants to know is why USC? Like what made you guys choose USC? And do you feel like now that you've chosen it, that it was the right choice, and what makes you feel like it is the right choice for you? So Nash, we can start with you.
Of course. The thing I always say is if you compare stacks of mail from schools with how interested they are in you, USC would, be about here, and all the other schools would be like below. I can't even show you how they are. USC was really into actually developing that relationship between a student even before they apply, through events like this, trying to give them perspective about what their time is going to be like at USC. I felt like the people actually cared. It was a big school, but a small, engineering school, this microcosm that really cares about each student they're admitting. And I felt like USC wanted me to be, at USC just as much as I wanted to actually take classes and be a student here. So that relationship really felt super mutual when I was applying, and ultimately after I was accepted. And compared to a lot of the other schools I applied to, I didn't really feel the same way. So I felt like it just worked best on both ends as far as USC and me are concerned. And on top of that, there's the weather here. LA's a great place for aerospace. I can ski and surf in the same day. I can't do that anywhere else. That's awesome. The sports are awesome. I love the people here. So really everything just kind of fit together. The boxes all got checked off as far as, oh, this is so cool. And I wasn't even looking for, I need to school with this, this, and this. But USC had so much more than I ever thought it would. And it all just started because there's that mutual interest. So that really is what led me to choose to go to USC.
Yeah, for me, I think the biggest thing was just that I wanted to be able to do a bunch of different things in college, aside from just getting a really good engineering education. So now that I'm a senior and I'm going to be graduating, looking back on all the things that I've been able to do, I just don't have any regrets. I've joined a hockey team for no apparent reason. I've been a teaching assistant. I've done research. I've had internships. I've gone to football games, every single one. I can't really think of a thing that I could have wanted to do that I haven't been able to do, and I don't think there's anywhere else where I really could have done that. So that's why I chose USC.
So for me, what really helped me decide was it's probably two things, So when I walked on campus, everyone looked genuinely happy. That was a big thing. Is when you walk on a campus, look at the people. If they're happy, that's a good thing. But if they're not, then that's not a good thing either. But the reason I walked on campus, everyone looked anyway happy and they were smiling, and that was going to be me the next year, and I wanted to be around people that looked happy also. Another thing that I thought was really cool was, you get all these brochures from all these different schools, and they have the white, the black, the Asian kid, and they're all look happy together, and they're all sitting on the quad. And when I got here, that was a real thing. I was my mind was blown. I thought that was really cool. I thought that the diversity of USC is crazy, and I think it's one of the most diverse places in the world. And so I like the fact that I can meet so many different people in such a small area. On the other end, I think I really like the fact of USC has a huge brand name in LA, and it's really great because I want to stay in LA, and I would love to stay in LA. And USC, when you say, oh, I went to USC, it speaks fathoms to people, and it shows you that you're an elite student in a large pool. So, a lot of great companies come here to recruit students, Facebook, and tell all these different places. And it's really great to be able to be at a school with people that are really, really smart, that are also super social, but also be able to go find your dream company at our career fair. So that's kind of why I chose it.
Yeah, so for me, I think it was three main reasons. I was very undecided in high school whether I wanted to go into architecture or civil engineering. And Viterbi has the civil engineering building science program, which is very specific and very unique for any engineering school to have, really. And so I was hooked instantly. It was exactly what I wanted to do, a combination of both in one. And so, you know, that's exactly what I wanted to study. Second, when I visited SC and I went to all the informational sessions for Viterbi, one of my biggest fears was that USC would feel too big for me. And, you know, especially coming from a very small school in Houston, I was scared it was just going to be too big. But Viterbi feels really small, and especially, you know, your specific disciplines like civil engineering is really small. And my, you know, civil engineering building science, I have 6 people in my class, which is, you know, very small, very intimate. You get very good feedback from your professor. And that's something that I, you know, really like got me to look at USC seriously. And lastly, the connections, just like being a USC Trojan, and, you know, what Frankie said, you know, the network is really strong, and I wanted to make sure that, you know, I would work hard in, you know, in college, and it pay off at the end where, you know, a job isn't handed to you, but knowing that working hard and doing everything that you possibly can to land that dream job, you know, have all of those things come together at the end of the year. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing for me to kind of, you know, sum it all up is the community. And I say that in terms of the community of your classes and your major and, you know, what you're going to be studying, and also just the people that you're going to meet, whether that's the people that you're living with freshman year in your dorm, all the way through your best friends as seniors. And to have those people be that support structure, you know, whether you're up till 3 a.m. studying for that midterm, or, you know, you're going to the weekender up in the Bay, you know, to go see the football game. That community has been fantastic, and the Trojan family, you know, as it's not just something when you graduate, it is very real as a student here, and I've loved it ever since.
Yeah, I picked USC because it was the only school I was considering that really made me feel like I mattered as a student. I would get tons of admissions information, like Nash said, about what my life at USC would be like, and it was really helpful for me to be able to visualize myself in LA, even though I was across the country in Florida. And I even got phone calls from alumni asking me if I had any questions, and all these small things really just added up for me. The Trojan family, like Alex said, really resonated with me. And fun fact, I was actually hired by an SC alum, so go Trojans.
So for me, I think what happened was that my mom told me, if you're smart if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room, right? And so I'm sure everyone's always heard that, but it's really something that resonates with me. And USC is a lot about the opportunities, and there's so many opportunities here that you're going to be challenged, but you're also going to grow, and you're going to be nurtured, and you're not going to be put down, but you're going to be in this collaborative environment where you can always grow and thrive here. And that's what it is about for me.
Yeah, so I chose USC just because I really wanted a mix of like social life, but also an academic life. And so for me, I like something, it sounds funny, but something that was important to me was a football team. I knew that like that was a culture that I really wanted to be a part of and do tailgating and go to football games, and that was sort of representative of like the social atmosphere that I was looking for. And so USC really balanced that with, you know, a great engineering school with environmental engineering, which is sort of a really specific major. And so, yeah, I would definitely say that USC has been a really good mix of the social and academic life, and that's why I chose it. So that was our final question. I hope everyone enjoyed our live chat tonight. Make sure you go to the Viterbi admission website at viterbivoices.usc.edu to answer all of those admission questions that you guys have. And if you guys want to learn more about what life is like as an engineering student at USC, anything that we didn't cover here, we do have a website that is completely run by students, viterbivoices.usc.edu. And that's where you guys can get any questions that we didn't answer. You can get those answered on there. There's lots of blogs, a huge amount of information. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Good luck on all of your college applications, and fight on.
Fight on, everyone.
Right on.
Right on.